Well, since the wind's blowing about 40, it's 2:45. I don't really see any deer moving anytime soon. I thought we'd tell a deer story. This would be about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 4 hunting seasons ago, 4 years ago. It was the opening day of gun season. And I come in here, had my son with me. And that evening, I had scattered a bunch of corn out. I'll show you where. I had scattered. That's a little creek. There's a big ridge that runs east to west. That's a little creek that cuts through there. And it makes a flat where the ridge breaks. And I scattered out maybe a half a bag of corn in the woods just on the other side of that fence. I had my son with me. I said, I can get something in here real close. I'm going to let Coleman shoot it. Well, from this stand to the fence is about maybe 24, 25 yards. And I had all that corn in there thinking maybe we'd get something in close. And then if something came out across the food plot or out in the bean field, you know, I'd shoot at it. Because at the time he was like, I don't know, 9 maybe. I think he was about 9 years old. So anyways, we sat here and he was bored. We wasn't seeing nothing. And then the coons started coming out of the trees and eating the corn. And I was watching the corn more than I was watching the field because I knew that something was going to come in there. I was just confident of it. There were deer tracks all over it. So I saw a buck. I got the gun set up. I got Coleman. He sat on my knee because at the time he wasn't tall enough to shoot from the rail of the stand. So he was sitting on my knee, and I had the gun there, and the deer was behind a tree, and I knew it was behind a tree, but he didn't know it was behind the tree. He said, I don't see it, I don't see it. I said, just get ready, it's fixing to walk out from behind that tree. And he couldn't see it. Well, it stepped out, and it was no kidding, 30, 35 yards. Nice 8-point. Probably 15 inches inside, tall. I thought, oh, he's finally going to kill a good deer because he's just killed spike and forked horns and 6 points. And I mean, just a little raggedy, scraggly looking deer. And I thought this will be his first decent rack buck. And he shot, and that deer spun around and ran back up the side of the ridge. And I thought, well, he had to have hit it. Who could miss it, you know, with a rest ready? And he wasn't excited. He wasn't shaking. So I thought, man, he's bound to hit it. So we looked all over for blood, never found any. Long story short, he clean missed it. So I had church Sunday. I had stuff to do Monday. I came back down here Tuesday, and it had stormed Monday night, and I had came down here Tuesday evening to hunt after I got off work. When I got here, the box stand was laid over on the ground facing the north, and there was a big oak tree, probably yay big around, beside the box stand. It had blown over, almost landed on the box stand. There were trees in the fence row that had blown over. I don't know if it was a tornado or what, but there was stuff blowed over big trees. So I was on a four-wheeler, and I pulled the four-wheeler over and just parked it out in the edge of that bean field out there. Just pulled out there and parked it in the edge of the tall grass. It wasn't brush hog that year. And the soybeans had just been cut. So I was sitting in the tall grass on a four-wheeler, and I had a sapling to rest my gun on. Anything come out in the bean field, I was going to have a shot at it because the box stand was laid over. Well, a bobcat come out. I've never seen a bobcat here before. I've never seen one since. So a bobcat come out, and I was like, I said, I'm going to kill that cat, right? So I took a good steady rest, and I mean, I was steady. And I squeezed the trigger, and that bobcat just looked up in the air and looked around behind him. Didn't know what was going on. This is about like 130, 40 yards. So I bolted the bolt back real slow and slid another shell in it. And that cat was looking around over its head. I couldn't for the life of me figure out what was going on. So I took a good steady aim again, and I looked through the scope and I squeezed the trigger, and when I did, that cat looked up in the air again. Looked over his head. But that time, when he looked over his head, I saw dirt in the scope fly up, maybe 40, 50 yards behind the cat. So I knew I'd shot way over him. I said, something's wrong with the gun. Well, the bobcat walks off. So I go home. So Wednesday night I got church. Thursday night I go down to the range and I shoot that gun, and at 100 yards, I don't know, 12, 14 inches. I think I'm like 14 inches high at 100 yards. So that would explain Coleman missing the deer. That would explain me missing the cat twice that walked off. So I sighted the gun back in, and I came back here Saturday, the second Saturday of gun season. Sat in this stand. Coleman didn't want to go. I think his aunt was in from Georgia, and he wanted to spend time with her. So I sat in this stand. I saw some coyotes in the food plot early, but I was wanting to kill a deer. I was about to get down at 10:30. All I'd seen was 2 coyotes, and I saw a coyote in the woods in front of me, and he was walking right to me, and I let him cross the fence. He was about maybe 25 yards, and I shot him. This is the biggest coyote I've ever seen in my life. I'll put a picture in and show it to you. It's a whopper of a coyote, right? So he got up and took off running after I hit him with a .243. Ran about 70 yards in there, and I hit him right behind the shoulders. So I drug him out. So anyways, I come back here that evening. I said, Coleman, you want to go? No, he's going shopping. He's going shopping. So I come back here that evening, and I sat, and all I've seen is 2 coyotes and a bobcat and the deer on opening day that Coleman missed. It's been kind of slow, but I said, I know it's still here. So I sat here that evening, and that deer came out in the bean field. And he came out over there about that cluster of trees. I don't know if you can see it or not. There's a little cluster of trees over there. Anyways, about 170 yards. And I shot and killed that 8-point, and it is the exact same deer he missed a week to the day before. And so I kid him a lot about that, about, when you go shopping, you don't kill deer in the shopping mall. The only way you're going to kill deer is to get out in the woods and hunt them. And I don't really know if I'll kill anything tonight, but I ain't going to no shopping mall, that's for sure. But he is a good shot, and he's grown up a lot since then. And as a matter of fact, in this stand during the youth hunt, opening day, he shot a 10-point just here on the edge of the food plot. It was I think it was 120 yards. So I was proud of him, and made a great shot. Deer dropped right where it got hit. But yeah, I kidded him about that, and he says it was my fault that the gun was off, but I've never had a gun that I sight my guns in every year. I shoot them regularly. I check them often. I've never had a gun that was off that much. So I think while I was probably getting things set up, he was rubbing my scope into a tree or something. But anyways, deer stories. Hope you enjoyed that one. Just goes to show you, you miss one, you keep hunting. Other moral of the story, you don't kill deer in a shopping mall. Third moral of the story is if you shoot twice and a bobcat doesn't run off, you're not even coming close to him. Fourth moral of the story is be patient with your kids. They'll grow up. Don't force them to go hunting. Just offer to take them regularly and teach them what you can. Make it enjoyable for them. And they'll continue hunting. The main thing is you got to get them on some animals. If they miss a deer, that's just more for you. Thanks for listening.